You know, here in Southwest Michigan, we have a lot of gems. And one of them is in Kalamazoo. It's something called the Hospital Hospitality House. And some of you, within the sound of our voices, know exactly what that is. And if you don't, I think you'll find it very interesting to hear what it is all about. Judy Paget is the executive director of Hospital Hospitality House, and she joins us this morning. Hi, Judy.
Good morning, Richard.
Nice to see you again.
Good to be here. Thank you.
So what is Hospital Hospitality House?
We are a home away from home for people who have a loved one in one of the hospitals in Kalamazoo or getting outpatient treatment. They can stay with us so they are close by to support their loved one while they heal.
And the cost is?
Nothing to the guest.
Nothing. That's a good price. How about that? How did this start?
We started 32 years ago as a collaboration with the Junior League of Kalamazoo and Bronson and Borges hospitals. They identified the need for families who couldn't afford a hotel and wanted to be close to one of their loved ones while they were getting medical treatment.
Mm-hmm. And this, you know, I suspect this is characteristic of the area in which we live. That is to say, if you live in a big metro area, you probably are within decent driving distance of a big hospital. But when you're in Southwest Michigan, where in a few minutes you're removed from a big metro area, it's not as easy to get there regularly, and you're facing this situation, this becomes an issue. That's
right. In fact, 16% of our guests at the house in Kalamazoo are from Calhoun County.
Wow.
So we think it's close. We think Battle Creek is next door or so, but it's a ways to go. When you're at the hospital all day, waiting for surgery, that can sometimes be hours. Or many of our guests are new parents who have a baby that's in the neonatal intensive care unit. In fact, many of the Calhoun County guests are from that unit. So you think about you've been in an intensive care unit with your newborn who arrived earlier than planned. It's exhausting. And then to have to drive at night on the highway or in bad weather, or anytime, it's just too far. So we're glad to provide the service that we do close.
And you've been situated in, I think, a historic building, right?
Yes. For the 32 years we've been in operation, we've been operating out of an old house on South Street in the historic district. Beautiful home, no doubt, but it has its downsides. Anybody that's tried to operate in an old house knows it's not efficient. It's not handicap accessible. It doesn't make sense to make that old building accessible. And we ask people to share rooms. When you come in as a single adult, you're most likely going to share a room with another adult,
I see.
Which often just adds stress to an already stressful situation.
Well, they're working to change all of that, and we'll talk about what that's about when we come back with Judy Paget in the Hospital Hospitality House on WBCK in just a minute. Judy Paget is here from the Hospital Hospitality House in Kalamazoo, which offers free accommodations for folks who have loved ones in one of the two hospitals in Kalamazoo and thus are faced with having to go back and forth from wherever they may be. What did you say, 16% from Calhoun County?
The people that we accommodate are from Calhoun County.
And you don't say you've got to be from a certain distance or anything, do you?
No.
Yeah.
No, in fact, we do provide accommodations to people from Kalamazoo County because sometimes that's just too far if you get to the South County or such.
Sure.
Or sometimes people are homeless and need to go through chemotherapy treatment. They can stay with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this, it's tremendous the way you've described how this came about. Now it's a point at which I presume this is something that could grow by leaps and bounds, couldn't it?
It could. As the medical services in Kalamazoo grow and more services are outpatient, we anticipate a growth in our numbers. Even if the service is outpatient, often you need to be to the hospital very, very early in the morning.
Sure.
So we can accommodate those families coming in the night before so they can get settled in the sometimes big city for folks. And then we provide transportation or arrange transportation to get to the hospital early in the morning.
So what do folks experience at Hospital Hospitality House? Is it like a hotel?
No, we like to think we're better than a hotel.
Okay.
Because they're going to be around other people that are going through a similar experience so they can support each other and get emotional support that you don't get at a hotel.
Right.
We have a fully stocked kitchen. It's a residential kitchen, so it feels more like home. You can make the food that's comfort food for you, not what the hotel serves for breakfast.
Yeah, here's a croissant. See you later. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Different than that.
Right.
Yeah.
You can make your eggs. Another example or a situation is we have global companies in the area that bring employees in from around the world. If one of those employees gets sick or get into an accident or something, the family will come from their home country to support that person while they heal. And in that case, the family, in one situation, they were from India, made their own food.
Wow.
You don't get that in a hotel.
Right.
They could make comfort food that was radically different from food I would call comfort food.
Right.
But how nice that they could gather in the kitchen as a family and do that.
And chances are they weren't going to find that anywhere else.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Boy, when you start talking about the situations in which folks find themselves and end up staying with you, boy, the light really goes on, doesn't it? You probably see that a lot. You probably start explaining these things and people say, oh, wow, I hadn't thought of that.
Well, it's one of those services that we don't know exists until we need it.
Yeah. Right.
And so people will come to us and say, wow, I never knew one of these existed. And I will go to their hometown or look at their hometown and say, well, you have one in your town. And what's nice about that is people will go back to their hometown and support the local house.
Yeah. Right, sure. The experience is memorable.
Right.
Yeah. And that actually prompts a question. How many of these places are there like this in the country? Do you know? I mean, is it rare? It seems like it's rare.
We're in the same family as Ronald McDonald Houses and Hope Lodges. Hope Lodges are provided by the American Cancer Society.
Yeah.
So you find those near major cancer centers. Hospitality houses tend to appear in between those other places, but we're all in the same family, so hundreds. I don't have a good count.
Well, still, that's amazing, though.
Right.
And you all operate, like you say, under some sort of radar until folks need you.
Exactly.
So when we come back in a minute, we'll talk a little bit about your plans for expansion.
Right.
As you pointed out, a historic home is gorgeous and wonderful, but when you run into challenges, you run into challenges.
That's right.
And so they've developed a plan at Hospital Hospitality House to try and overcome that. And Judy will tell us about that in just a moment on WBCK. WBCK. Judy Paget is here from the Hospital Hospitality House. We found out there's a Hospital Hospitality House Association, which means there must be lots of these. So about 200 or so.
About 200. So we're not in every city.
Yeah. But it makes sense. You wouldn't need to be, I suppose, but there would be places where this, as we were describing, is just the right setup for this kind of thing. You're just a little bit outside of a comfortable distance from home. And so this makes it just one more thing that you'd have to worry about if this was not available. So Hospital Hospitality House, if you're just joining us, is a place where folks who have loved ones in one of the Kalamazoo hospitals can stay free while their loved ones are being cared for. Now, as you pointed out, Judy, the concept has really outgrown the facility that you have. That is to say, the demand is there, but also, life has changed.
Right.
And so now you're looking at something much bigger and different.
Right. A few years ago, we launched a capital campaign. We decided it was time we needed to become handicap accessible, take the barriers out. We wanted to offer private rooms and private bathrooms, important for people. And we need to be more efficient. It's costly to maintain the 157-year-old home on South Street, and we need to do better with the donor money that we have that we're given to do that. So we launched a campaign to build 2 new hospitality houses in Kalamazoo. 2 new, one next to each hospital.
Okay.
Where we're convenient to the hospitals in Kalamazoo, we're not close enough. The nature of the situations that people are in when they come to us are emergency. People are really, really ill when the families come to us. And 5 blocks is too far sometimes, and a few miles from the other hospital is way too far.
Yeah.
So we're going with what the national standard is to put these houses next to the hospitals.
Well, an idea.
Both hospitals in Kalamazoo have generously offered to donate property to us to build on.
Oh, my.
And then what really allowed us to move forward was the Home Builders Association of West Michigan came forward a year ago and said, we would like to build one of the homes for you as a gift.
Oh, my goodness.
So that allowed us to launch. start building. They're taking advantage of the weather, and we have the first house going up on Henson Ave in Kalamazoo.
And that's close to Borges,
Borges
right?
Hospital, just east of Borges.
Gull Road, Borges. Okay. And, yeah, it's a good point that you made. South Street, Kalamazoo, 5 blocks from Bronson.
Correct.
But still not next door.
Not next door.
And what would that be? 3 or 4 miles from Borges on Gull Road.
Correct.
So this is a tremendous thing. And I would imagine before those folks stepped up, this might have seemed like an overwhelming
yes.
possibility.
Right. We're a rather small organization, and there was much discussion for many years looking at all types of alternatives of how to better serve our guests. And I believe we've hit on the right decision, the best one.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked everything from renovating the house that we're at, which is cost prohibitive,
Right.
To adding on or buying the house next door and seeing if we could make something work that way, to building a large new house, one house in between both hospitals. And the reality of downtown Kalamazoo is that property is just not available.
Yeah, right, for
reasonably.
the size of need. So talk about the concepts for these 2 buildings. How many rooms? How does that compare? This is exciting.
If you think more of a cottage, although it's going to be a 7-bedroom cottage with 7 private bathrooms, a common living area, a kitchen with 2 pods, so there will be 2 stoves, 2 fridges, 2 dishwashers, so 2 families can prepare meals at a time. Or we hope more community groups will come in and prepare meals for our guests.
Oh, how nice.
We have some of that now on South Street. The new kitchens will be more welcoming for more to do that. So the concept allows people to gather in common areas, swap their stories, share, support each other, but yet still have the privacy of their guest room for rest.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And as you pointed out, when you have to share your accommodation, sometimes that can add to the stress that you might be under already. So this is very mindful of that. So the one next to Borges is going up now.
It is going up. The home builders are planning to have that in the Parade of Homes for June 2017.
Wow.
We're hoping to be in it, occupying and running later this summer.
Okay, that's coming up. It'll be here before we know
up.
it. Thanksgiving is next week, Judy.
That's right. Thanks, Richard.
Yeah, I know. It's moving fast here. How about the other one?
The other one, we are still actively raising money, trying to close up our $4.8 million campaign. Okay. We have just under $800,000 left to raise, which means we've raised $4 million, which is a lot for us, but we need that $800,000 to make both houses a reality.
That is incredible. That you can see the finish line down there in the distance.
Yes.
That's great. Well, congratulations.
Thank
How
you.
do folks help you if they want to?
They can go to our website at hhhkz.org, and there is a secure online giving option there. Or they can mail us a check at 527 West South Street, Kalamazoo, 49007.
Okay. You own that home on South Street.
We do own that home.
Yeah. So becomes a showpiece after you're all done here?
When we have 2 new houses up and running, that beautiful house on South Street will be for sale.
Yeah. Somebody's going to snap that up.
We hope.
A historic home is always of interest.
Right.
This is huge. You have a website, too, where this is detailed. Is that true?
That's right. And you can see pictures of the house going up and the home builders. And if anybody's in that area, stop by and say thanks to the builders. Anybody working on that site is most likely volunteering their time.
Yeah, that's right. What's that web address? Do you know?
www.hhhkz.org.
hhhkz.org. Hospital Hospitality House. Free accommodations for folks who are from some distance and have loved ones who are ill in the hospital in Kalamazoo, one of the 2 hospitals. A tremendous idea, an organization of long standing in Kalamazoo, a contingent of folks from Calhoun County who do take advantage of this option because it's close but far under these circumstances. So it's exciting to hear about this. Congratulations on all the success, Judy.
Thank you.
Thank
you for your time.
Thank you. Judy Paget with Hospital Hospitality House.